What is up, everybody? CP and SJ with you here from Every Day. We're covering week one of the 2025 college football season is upon us, and we've got some picks to deliver to you to hopefully fatten up that wallet here for Labor Day weekend. Maybe you get a day off, hopefully, from working for the man and put a couple extra bucks in your pocket at the same time, right, SJ?
Yeah, why not? And then go ahead and make some. I guess it depends what you want. Maybe make some plays the next week, or go ahead and buy your take advantage of those. Like the mattress companies always
There you
like
go.
have those deals, or give yourself a new recliner to watch the game, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Take advantage of those sales going on. We going to dive right into it here and get you our picks here for week one. Obviously, a very busy weekend because it extends a little bit longer. There's games going on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, even working through the weekend. So lots to look at, and we're going to get right into it. So I'll start off. My first one here is a Thursday game that I was looking at. Boise State, South Florida, playing an early season contest, and I'm going to go on the unders here in this game. It's a pretty big number. 63 and a half was what the total was at. And I just feel like, Boise State, a lot of change there on the offense. You lose a Heisman contending running back. You're probably going to struggle a little bit on that side of the ball. I think South Florida is going to do enough defensively to muck it up too. So I just feel like this is going to get a little bit, sloppier than it will be points scored. So going to go under with that game. That's how I'm kicking it off. SJ, what's the first one you're looking at here?
Well, as I mentioned on the audio format, I got to start putting my money where my mouth is a little bit. Like we got to stick by our guns here. So the first one on my list here is the LSU and Clemson matchup, which, I mean, you got two top 10 teams according to preseason rankings, and there's not a lot here that one way or the other, but with LSU getting 4 points, I feel pretty good about that being like a one score type of game. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those 4 points. I don't, like I said, not so confident like LSU's gonna blow them out or even get the win, but I think they can stay within a field goal. And I get that maybe they've recruited well and all that type of thing, but to me the probability of LSU being like a dark horse SEC contender, maybe even like you maybe winning it or even just being in the conversation is higher than Clemson kind of being, the Clemson that was, winning championships or kind of going on that run. So I'll take the 4 points, and take LSU to cover that number there on I guess we're Saturday there, I believe. This weekend's crazy games every night, but that's a pretty good Saturday matchup there.
Yeah, should be a fun one to watch for sure. Next game I'm looking at is a Friday contest, and this isn't necessarily a sexy play or a game that anybody probably won't be watching at all, anyways. But I just saw the number again, and I'm like, these high numbers here in week one, I don't love no matter who it is. Illinois is playing Western Illinois. Illinois is like a gazillion point favorite. I didn't understand that to begin with, but just because I felt like that was almost a joke, I was like, I'm not going to touch that, I guess. But the total's at 63 and a half. Illinois is not necessarily a like score a bunch of points type of team ever. Yeah, they've gotten a little bit more of that maybe in the last couple of years, but they're still not a run it up type of team. And I just don't think, I think they're going to get comfortable in this game and then not, take their foot off the gas. They won't need to. So I can see them winning big, but I think they're going to do most of the scoring, and Western Illinois probably won't much at all. So I'm going to go with that under again at that 63 and a half number.
Yeah, you talk about crazy numbers, and like I saw, I think Penn State is like a friggin' 44 and a half point favorite, something like that. And week one, I was like, oh my, I mean, I could see it, but I was like, it's just amazing. I was like, I can't even mess with that. So, but not too far off is USC 35 and a half point favorite. But I think I actually do like this one for the fact that they're taking on a Missouri State at home that's making the jump to the big boy level there. Coming up from the lower ranks. So not only is it like tough to make that transition, but then you're doing it with like a team that's kind of, I mean, offense is kind of the game. And then and even last year, they scoring like 38 points a game at home against the, far higher competition, no disrespect, but you still were playing, some bigger type of names than a Missouri State USC was. So I don't see how they would. I think it's going to be a one of those where it's like halftime you can be done with it and turn it off. So I'll take USC to cover that 35.5. I know it's a pretty big number, but it's also in this case. I mean, it's not usually, but it does seem pretty warranted considering the stakes and who their opponent is.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how that does play out and how their transition goes. The next game I was looking at is on Saturday, and this is another one of those where it's like a big number, and I don't know, I could see getting burned by this. I'm not going to put a lot of skin on this, but Ole Miss is laying 38 against Georgia State, and Georgia State's been one of those Sun Belt teams that's always been at least like a little bit feisty, like they'll give teams some hell and play tough against teams. And I just don't see them getting rolled by 38 against an Ole Miss team that's probably not going to give too much thought into this game after it gets going if they do get up. Another one of those things where they probably take the foot off the gas. They're looking ahead, to getting into action. I think they play Kentucky the next week, so it's always an interesting game for them. So I just feel like not going to have the motivation to make sure they drop them by 38. So I'm going to give Georgia State a chance to hang within that number.
To me, this next one I'm going to pick is a little intriguing and maybe I guess other than that first matchup, just because of the quality of the teams, this is maybe a little bit of it's a little bit more confidence is going to be lower just to the fact that I could see it going either way. But UCLA is traveling to Utah for that. I mean, we love those, after dark games type of games or the action. And that's typically what this could have been. I guess it still is 10 p.m. kick here, local time, though, what we care about. But that UCLA is a 6.5 point underdog. And of course, in recent years, Utah's honestly had far more success than the UCLA has within the last, 5 to 10 years. But of course, when you look at the names, you're like, oh, that's crazy. But we're not looking at that. But both teams were a little bit, underwhelming, I guess, last year. Both finished 5-7. Neither went to a bowl. But I guess there's a little bit, and it's tricky when we get into these early season games. We talked about it last week. It's like, well, it's like they weren't that good last year. It's a new year and all that stuff, but you don't have a lot of data other than considering returners, and you kind of go off what you have. So if we look at last year's records, both were the same, but Utah only won one game after September 21st. That's a hell of a stretch to only get one victory. And I know there's quarterback issues, thing, but they're kind of in a situation where they really need to get things going here, and or maybe kind of time to turn over the reins and get some someone you hate to say that with a coach as accomplished as Whittingham is, but it's at the same time it's like, well, kind of put up or shut up, especially when you're in the big boy leagues now. But I do like and UCLA was like kind of the opposite, 4-2 down the stretch after in October and November. So they kind of at least hit a stride a little bit. I know the coach got a lot of flack for some of his media stuff, and yeah, it was kind of bad. He does not have that personality, but doesn't mean he's a bad coach. And we don't know if he's a good coach yet either. But that was a little bit, kind of the storyline that got to be. But I do think that they had a better team than maybe that kind of showcased, and you look at the draft and that type of thing, and people that are like projected like, well, they had a lot of talent and they kind of added more to that in the offseason. So it's kind of it's a wait and see thing, but I know a lot of people do kind of like the UCLA, and I'm not necessarily thinking they could win this, but I do think getting almost a touchdown, I'll take that plus money there and take them to at least keep it closer competitive, and definitely would not be shocked if they won.
Yeah, that is another fun, interesting game to pay attention to for sure. My last one for the weekend, I'm going to go another game on Saturday. This one was just too tempting to me. I don't know. I guess I could be wrong, but I'm feeling pretty good about this one. Alabama laying 13.5 against Florida State. We all, of course, know the documented issues that Florida State had last season. And I think that, too, was a product of kind of things snowballing. And, sometimes when things don't go well, they really don't go well. And that's what happened to them. I'm not saying that they're like a totally devoid of talent program or that they can't get back to a little bit more respectability of where they were. But I do think that they're going to be well outmatched here in this one. Alabama was going to be on a mission to prove they belong back up at the top of the SEC. I think they're going to do a nice job of transitioning their new guys into their new roles, and I just think they're going to be up enough late, and then probably get that late score to make sure that it covers. Is what I'm kind of feeling here in this game. So I'm going to go Alabama laying. If it was more than 2 touchdowns, maybe I'd feel differently. But getting under that 2 touchdown mark, I feel good about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you've got to favor Alabama, and this is the type of year where it's like if they're going to put up some style points, they're going to have to do it because they've got something to prove. And I know Florida State does too. I just don't know if they have the the operation to do so. So I definitely kind of back you on that one too. I'll probably be throwing down on that. My last one here. I guess we'll go to what Sunday night. So I get this. You want to talk about and I don't even know. I guess one more so than the other. But as far as like college football names and stuff, Notre Dame, Miami, just kind of doesn't get much bigger than that, with a few exceptions here. But uh, man, close game. Could see it going either way, so I'm not messing with that. But I'll look at that total, 49.5. Last year, Miami was first in total offense, or at least points per game, and Notre Dame was 10th. So you got two scoring things again. It's new season, new thing, but with that Notre Dame rushing attack, I expected it to be pretty strong again. And even though Miami, like Cam Ward's a hell of a big loss, of course, productivity wise, we don't know what he's going to be as a pro, but that doesn't really matter. It's not our conversation. But I mean, you go and get an ex Georgia quarterback. Doesn't seem like there's. I mean, there's going to be a drop off, but it's like it's somebody that's been there and done it and played in big games, and they're going to have weapons and athletes. So I feel pretty confident about that. And then, I mean, this is kind of a, I guess for some people it's a 4-letter word, or I guess it'd be a 3-letter word in this case. But according to Pro Football Focus, they've graded Miami's lines as a top 10 both offensive and defensive. And looking at Notre Dame, they have them as one of the best rushing offenses in the country. So I know there's a little bit of people don't like it, do like it. There is a lot of data that goes into those. So I think there's somewhat of a respectability there. But either way, I do think both teams have pretty solid offenses, and who knows who the hell is going to win. But I think we could see, easily a game in the mid 20s to even a 30 type game, a 30 point each type game. So that would easily get us over that number. You see a 28-24, whatever, 31-27 type of game, and we'll be sitting good there. So I like the overs in that game. But again, cool to get this type of a game. And I know Miami doesn't have the campus stadium, but at least it's it's a home stadium, and it's a nice stadium, Hard Rock, but it's not our typical campus stadiums. But I'm glad this isn't in freaking Arizona, or like SoFi Stadium, or in New York or something random like that. That would kind of maybe kill a little bit of the vibe on this one.
Yeah, I agree. Be another really fun matchup early in the season, one that people want to watch. You've got the side storyline there too with CJ Carr now being the quarterback at Notre Dame too, of course from Michigan lineage. So interesting. It would be a fun game to watch. There is some good ones here in Week 1, that is for sure. So those are our plays. If you, of course, would like to go along with that, or if you would like to fade us, let us know that. We can hit us up. You can see the handles there. We are available to you on Twitter. We'll post our picks there as well. And then, of course, probably have some things that we throw up there as the weekend goes along, because there'll be a lot of games and plays to take a look at. So make sure you're following us there, and feel free to interact and share what you think is a good play here this upcoming weekend as we get the college football season kicked off. We would love it if you would like, subscribe, and share the podcast, available in all the major podcast platforms. Just search up Every Day We're Covering. And you can also, of course, subscribe, and get the notifications on the YouTube channel, where you'll find these picks coming at you each and every week here as we roll through college football in 2025-26. Those are our picks here for this opening full week of college football. That's SJ Munoz. I'm Chris Parks. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time for some more covers.